Welcome to Kansas Speedway. It's almost time for Apex Energy Truck Series action from one of the slickest tracks on the circuit. It's the UD Awards 150 at this beautiful 1.5-mile facility. Ryan O'Hara here on the left and Tony Hilbrand on the right, each in our own virtual studios. And Tony, we are at the penultimate race of the 2023 season. In basic English, we're 2 races away from crowning a champion. Johnny Rapp, last week's winner, is our points leader. He holds a 29-point lead over Josh Ward, and after 4 wins on the season, Rapp currently has the edge. Josh Ward, of course, has 2 victories. In fact, other than Rapp and Ward, there's only one other driver that has multiple wins this season, and that is Scott Sobczak. However, after some inconsistency and some poor finishes, Sobczak is currently mired back in 8th position in the point standings. Tony, what can we expect here in Kansas?
Well, as you will quickly touch on the points, as you're saying, it's basically a two truck race here, and Josh needs a lot of help to get that done here in the last 2 weeks, because 20 points doesn't seem like a lot, but with a 1 point per position scoring, that's a lot. He's got to beat Johnny by at least 20 spots here the next 2 weeks, and that's gonna be a bit tough. But yeah, tonight, as we are at Kansas, it is the UD Awards 150. They got sorry about that. They got 100 laps here tonight then for 150 miles. They got 3 sets of tires, 2 of which are in the pits, and a field window's about 35 to 40 laps. So we're going to look at a 2 to 3 stop race here tonight if it goes green. The trucks, it's gonna be a lot like Vegas out there from a few weeks ago, where everyone's gonna be pretty much full throttle most of the race or runs. It seems like, unlike Vegas though, there is 2 to 3 grooves, so you'll definitely see trucks searching around, high line, low line, maybe even the middle, trying to just get a run to pass someone. So they definitely got the room for that, but with everyone basically full speed, there's going to be a lot of just kind of like riding, it looks like, but they're definitely going for it. So again, like with Vegas, track position is going to be key, so we'll see if anybody new can get a good qualifying lap and start up front and maybe be able to hold on to that track position out there tonight.
Well, Ellis Thomas ran a 31.001, so nearly basically a 31 flat. But Thomas, he hasn't won this season, but he's currently quickest in practice. Can we expect to see, or do you expect to see, a surprise winner in this race?
Again, like I was saying, and as you bring in Ellis up, if he can start up front, then he definitely has a shot, along with anyone like. I know Chris has had a couple of good finishes, but he's 4th on the board. We got Matt Coots just jumped up to 6th. So if these guys can start up front, they'll keep it up there. It's going to be harder to pass here tonight, but if they can start up front, keep it up front, we could easily see a new winner here tonight. And with that, we will quickly hit the national anthem as it's switching over to qualifying, and we will bring you back as qualifying is wrapping up.
And welcome back to our coverage of the UD Awards 150 at Kansas Speedway. Ryan O'Hara here alongside Tony Hilbrand. And qualifying is currently underway for this 100 lap race. And Tony, we do have an update for the fans that, well, watched the race last week. Ryan Jones will be starting at the rear of the field today after last week's post race incident involving Josh Ward. And he has also been chat banned for the remainder of the season. Tony, your thoughts on this?
Well, obviously something probably needed to be done. So that's it's not too stiff of a penalty, but it is definitely going to hurt tonight, starting in the back, because as we were talking about, track is definitely going to be key out there at Kansas. I was going to say Vegas again because basically they run the same way, but yeah, track position is definitely going to be key out there. So starting at the back, and we got what it looks like 25 or so yeah, about 25 trucks out there, so that's a lot of passes needing to be made, and they're going to be really hard to do. So you know, sometimes when you let your temper get the best of you, you need to pay for it, and that's definitely what's happening out there.
And it's a bad situation for Rye, not only from a reputational standpoint, but also his starting position for today because he decided to qualify. It's not going to matter. But if his qualifying lap were to stand, he's running a 31:15. That's good for second place. But because of his actions, it looks like he's going to start 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. So this is definitely, I wouldn't call it a harsh penalty, but I would call it, just it's just going to affect him negatively when the green flag flies tonight because he's going to be stuck in that dirty air and some slow trucks that typically don't run very well to begin with. So it's going to be interesting, but he has 100 laps to see what he can do with it.
Well, the one thing that's going to help him with the qualifying though is now he's down to third as Cole Sacchetti jumps up to second, but qualifying gives him right now as he's third. He'll have the third pit box, so if there is a caution, that will definitely help him be able to gain a few spots on pit road because he won't have far to go to get off pit road. So if there's a caution, he can make up some of the track position. But yeah, definitely starting in the back is not going to help. But last couple of races, we'll see how everyone ends the season here, because obviously there's a lot of tensions probably built up over the season. I know there's a couple of people that have been a little frustrated with how their seasons have gone, but new night, new race. Everyone's gonna go hard out there tonight.
Absolutely. And right now, Chris Smith is currently on the pole. We have 5 seconds remaining in qualifying to 42 of Paul Thomas. It does not look like he is going to complete a lap at all. So Paul Thomas will start at the rear of the field, it looks like. And with that said, qualifying is complete. So let's see our starting lineup for tonight's UD Awards 150. Chris Smith on the pole with a 31.12. If I'm not mistaken, this is his first pole of the season, Tony. Now going into to round out the top 10, Cole Sacchetti will start on the outside of the front row. Johnny Rapp will start third. Jamie Leach will start fourth. Josh Ward, who is second in the point standings, will start in the fifth spot. Ellis Thomas, who is quickest in the initial practice session, will start in sixth, followed by Patrick O'Toole, Evan Pienta, Cordell Lofgren, and Rhett Tucker.
Well, the not the whatever, but they'll still be starting where they qualified. The inside line will probably just move up a row. So with Rye going to the back, but yeah, then we got Patrick Colby, Brady Powers, Matt Kuntz, Tim Tokarski, Zachary Doust, Timmy Emanuel, George Fetzko, Chris Lowry, Chris Tepp, Scott Sobzak, who surprisingly he did put in a lap time, but he was the slowest qualifier, which is I'm honestly shocked to be saying that right now. But yeah, Scott Sobzak back there, 21st, and then Nick DeCesare will round out the field and Paul Thomas, who didn't show up on the grid for some reason before Rye Jones, who will get an EO to start the race here. Yeah, we got 100 laps here tonight. It'll be 150 miles. They're going to run around 31 seconds for, as you saw in qualifying, to about 30, I don't know, 30, 34 seconds towards the end of the run. This race could go pretty quickly if they keep it green. What do you expect to happen out there tonight, Ryan?
Well, I expect to see some close racing because Kansas is a very slick track. So I expect to see a couple wrecks tonight. And, as long as these guys can get single file pretty early, I think we should have a pretty clean race. But, especially mid pack, I think we're going to see some very close racing, a lot of door banging. Perhaps we're going to see some tempers flare. That tends to happen in these truck races. So the guy who can control his temper the best is going to come out on the right side of it and end up in victory lane. But as far as Scott Sobczak is concerned, we have an update on him. It looks like, he was having some netcode issues, and it looked like he got into the outside wall going into turn number 1 on his second qualifying lap, and then Sobczak pulled off the track and exited the server. So it looks like Scott Sobczak might not even race today here, Tony.
Well, he's definitely going to miss the start, as it doesn't look like he's back in here, and we are about to go green here. So yeah, that's unfortunate for Scott. Hopefully he could maybe come back in and make up a lap or how his laps back once if a caution or two come out. But we are about to go green here as the pace car is pulling off.
100 laps here at the Kansas Speedway. The green flag is underway. Chris Smith leads the field to the green flag, and we are green here at the UD Awards 150. Here they go into turn number 1. Oh, trouble!
Whoa,
Contact in the back,
already.
a huge wreck. Already. Oh, and more are collected. Matt Kuntz is involved.
All right, well, let's take a quick look at this.
One truck is flipping end over end, and that is Cordell Lofgren. His day is definitely done.
Yeah, just they were 3 wide going into the corner, and the 44 just seems like he didn't expect to be 3 wide, and he came down and he got turned. And you said the 83 was the one who flipped, right? Let's try to get a view of that here.
You know what? There were 3 things that happened here. So number 1, if you look at the 99 of Rhett Tucker and the 55 of Evan Pienta, there's net code. Because Evan Pienta's truck just turns dead right, all out of nowhere.
All right, well, we are going to go on board with the 83 here and take a look from his view as this first lap incident is underway. And he's behind the 44 and 55. As you see, they made contact, and then he gets pushed up and hold on. I don't know why it changed on us there. We'll get a. All right, sorry about that, guys. But yeah, he gets hit there, and then as he's coming back down, he gets T-boned again, and then just trucks keep plowing in, and then he goes up and over. So I don't know. I think people could have possibly been a little more cautious once they saw the wreck starting, and they just, I don't know. I think it looks like people just decided to, like, hey, we got to get around this, and just kept plowing into it. As you see, a bunch of trucks just keep driving in there, and unfortunately for Emmanuel and Lofgren especially, they get the worst of it, as Lofgren had about 6 barrel rolls there, it looks like.
Well, taking a look at the replay again, this looks like there's net code, but Rhett Tucker made it 3 wide right off the bat. I don't think Evan Pienta was expecting that, and so he moved up a little bit because he was probably like, whoa, there's a guy to my inside. And unfortunately, Patrick O'Toole had gone down at the same time. So Patrick O'Toole came down, Evan Pienta came up. It was just a chain reaction. A lot of things happened there. So Cordell Lofgren comes in. He's going to get into all of them. He's going to drive down into the 13 of Matt Kuntz, who gets clobbered by Tim Tokarski. And the 39 of Timmy Emanuel definitely got some damage in that. And the 6 got a big hit. Chris Lowry was involved. Evan Pienta had another hit. George Fetzko got some nose damage. Just an unbelievable crash. And, I did did expect to see some crashes, but I didn't expect to see a big one just seconds into the race.
Yeah, and you can see all the trucks on pit road here with damage. Um, yeah, so about six or so trucks were involved in that. And again, obviously Lofgren got the worst of it. As you can see, his truck's probably done for the night there.
Patrick O'Toole has taken his machine to the garage. He is done for the day. It's incredible, Tony, how these races can just turn into, wreckfest right off the bat. Patrick O'Toole's been working on his setup for this race all week, and he didn't even make it at maybe 5-6 seconds into the race. When you experience something like that, for example, you go back to the 2002 Daytona 500, Tony Stewart didn't even make it down the back straightaway before his engine, blew out. You've prepared a lot of these cars, and you've seen some, unforeseen consequences, especially early in races. How much does that mentally drain you, knowing that you prepared for something for an entire month, an entire week, and then you don't even make it through a turn, let alone a lap?
Well, just in general, you'd think people would be, a little more well, whether cautious or not's the correct word, but be a little smarter and like, again, they've got 100 laps, so you don't need to. You can't win it turn one, lap one, and like you were saying with all the preparation. Well, there's an hour. They have an hour-long practice before qualifying in this session, which you guys don't really see. So they got an hour of that, then they get the 5 minutes for the qualifying, and then they're in the race. So you got an hour and 5 minutes where you're set, you're getting everything ready to go for the race here, which is 100 laps. So again, there's not really any reason to be 3-4 wide going into turn one on the green flag, and then your race is already over. So it's just unfortunate, and maybe you got to go yell at someone after the race is over or something. But yeah, it's definitely not the best thing to have happen out there. Nor does anyone really want to see that. But some people just need to use their heads a little more, it looks like.
Absolutely. The pace lights are out on the pace car, and that means we're about to go back to green. Also, trouble under the caution. Tim Tokarski spun entering the pits, and thankfully that did not result in a delayed restart. Green flag is back out. Chris Smith gets a huge jump over Cole Zucchetti, and here comes Patrick Colby and Josh Ward coming through. And Johnny Rapp, our points leader, will move into the second spot.
Yeah.
As Colby and Ellis Thomas are side by side down the backstretch.
Yeah, Ward and Colby dove to the inside right away there to pick up some spots, and yeah, Chris got a big jump.
Oh, trouble on pit road. Tim Tokarski has spun and hit the wall again. It's the second time that he has done that in this race.
He's struggling out there, it looks like. Chris Smith, your leader, still is about a quarter of a second gap over second place Johnny Rapp, who restarted third, and with Chris's nice jump, Rapp was able to do so as well. They both cleared. Zucchetti is under attack by a lot of trucks right there for third place. There's about 7 trucks that want to get by him, and it's like a hornet's nest right now.
And Jamie Leach is going to have to call Ellis Thomas after this race and give him a big thank you, because he got loose coming off turn 4 that previous lap. Ellis got off the throttle, checked up a little bit, and pulled down to the inside to make sure he didn't run over the two. And now Jamie Leach has pulled ahead of that group, but Rhett Tucker is on his back bumper as Johnny Rapp closes in on our leader.
And speaking of things about last week, you got Rhett Tucker and Josh Ward, who got involved in an incident last week. They're side by side, and Ellis Thomas, who's also got a piece of that, is right behind them. So maybe they can keep it civil out there for a while at least, but that'll be something to look at here, or keep an eye on here, to see if anyone's still got some tempers from last week.
Well, the ironic thing is that Roy Jones was penalized at the start of this race for last week's incident, and he was forced to start at the rear of the field, but that massive wreck on the first lap actually helped him. He started in 21st, make it 20th, actually actually, no, let's take a look. Probably 22nd. He started 22nd, and he is already in top 15. He's running in the 11th spot right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a benefit when you got 6 cars to pass without having to do anything.
And here comes Johnny Rapp on the inside of Chris Smith.
Oop.
And he may come out of this turn as the leader. Let's see what Smith does. And Johnny Rapp is going to clear him for the lead. But here comes Smith deep to the inside. He's going to try to cross over. I think he made that a little bit... That move he made was a little bit too aggressive. I don't think he's going to be able to hold it coming off this turn. They're going to be side by side. Johnny Rapp's going to get the side draft, but, you know, perhaps going to the apron is going to give him a little bit of a boost. Let's see what happens in turn 1.
He did lead the lap.
He did lead the lap.
So Johnny's still looking for a lap lead for the bonus point, but yeah, Chris is able to clear him there. But yeah, Chris just it looked pretty helter skelter with the move like that, but he didn't want to give up the momentum. And as you see, Johnny's doing the same thing. You're going into 3, and Johnny's gonna get the pass done here and lead the lap, coming to lap 13.
But the problem when you do what Chris Smith did, when you overdrive the corner, you'll have to. You gain some ground, but you're overcompensating for your tires. And on the long run, you know, that's going to cost Smith. Here comes Cole Sacchetti on the outside. He's giving that 28 a push.
And Rhett Tucker's followed him, and here comes Josh Ward as well. And now there's 5 trucks on the high side as Johnny's trying to hang on to the lead on the bottom all by himself. And it looks kind of like a plate track out there right now.
Absolutely. And as the leaders continue to battle side by side, they have basically brought, you know, much of the field right up to their bumper. So it's going to be very interesting to see who comes out of this unscathed. And here comes Ellis Thomas. He's closing in on Josh Ward. He wants some of this.
And it looks like Evan Pienta, who was involved in that first lap, did leave a comment in the chat on the YouTube side of things. So if anybody wants to get his thoughts on the situation, you can go check out the YouTube chat. But yeah, Chris and Sacchetti both cleared Johnny there coming out of turn 2, and here comes Tucker as well.
Are his comments able to be read on air?
We'll just say he wasn't too happy with a move someone made out there, and if people want to go look, then they can definitely go check us out on the YouTube, because we are simulcasting on YouTube and Twitch, so you can check us out at Slingshot Racing League on both YouTube and Twitch.
Well, he's more than likely referring to the 99 of Rhett Tucker, who took him 3 wide at the start of the race. I'm assuming that Mr. Pienta will not be having an Evan Pienta Designs sponsor on any of his trucks here for the rest of the season, Tony.
Sacchetti's really trying to get that pass done for the lead on the bottom there, but he just doesn't have quite the run nor any help behind him, as Smith definitely has some pushers behind him with Rhett Tucker, Josh Ward, and Ellis Thomas.
And Tim Tokarski is back on the racetrack. He has scored 10 laps down. And George Fetzko has gone down a lap. He suffered some nose damage during that opening lap crash. However, he did not go down pit road to fix that damage.
I think he was on pit road. He just didn't sit there to get it all done. I remember seeing him coming off pit road under caution. But
okay.
But yeah, he's definitely hurting out there as well. And it looks like everyone's going to the high side yet again, as Johnny Rapp is stuck on the bottom, and he's already in about 4 laps or so has fallen from first to about, what's that, 9th already. So.
Oh, and a bump. Zachary Douse got in the back of Jamie Leach going into turn 3, and Leach held on to it, but that could have been dangerous.
And that hurt Zachary's momentum there, as he's given up a little bit of a gap, as it looks like the top 8 are kind of splitting up into 2 groups here with a little bit of a gap between Sacchetti and Thomas.
And as far as Johnny Rapp, you know, going from 1st to 9th, I think this is by design, honestly. We've seen Rapp do this so many times. let the guys race it out. Whoa! And another big checkup. Patrick Colby got in the back of Zachary Douse. They continue. Rapp
I
going
think
to the bottom.
it looked like Dowse had to check up for Ellis Thomas slowing down there. I'm not sure if Thomas grabbed the wall or not, but all four of them were four wide basically coming out of four because of that.
And let's take a look at the replay going down the back straightaway. And Ellis Thomas gets a little bit loose going to the corner, and he sure did get the wall. Jamie Leach was able to get by. Zachary Douse actually made contact with the 8 of Ellis Thomas, so he didn't get away with it clean, but he should be fine. An update on the opening lap crash. Matt Kuntz and Chris Lowry have gone behind the wall. However, Matt Kuntz has reconnected, so he could be heading back out onto the racetrack. Cordo Lofgren, as we previously mentioned, who flipped over in that epic wreck, is also behind the wall and is done for the day.
And it looks like Timmy Emmanuel is out on track, but he's 19 laps down. He had like, it looked like he got the second worst of that, but up front we got a 4-truck breakaway as Chris Smith continues to lead here, and then in 5th is Jamie Leach, who's about a second behind these top 4.
And once the tires wear out here, Tony, is the high side basically the place to go?
Honestly, it depends on the vehicle. I think the trucks here, as you can see, they're probably going to stay up high. But I don't know. I think if someone can manage their right front a little better and over the long run, they could probably take it to the bottom later in the run and pick up some spots. It's just going to depend on how hard they're pushing right now and if they can keep the tires under them as they continue to go. Also, we are about 10 to 15 laps away from fuel cycle, but we did have one caution, so we'll probably extend that a few laps. So look around lap 38 to 43 for the first set of pit stops if we stay green that long. So we're just over halfway through a run right now already, so the tires are definitely probably going to be well worn right now, and they're still up high. So we'll see if that is how they stay, but you're going to have to
And here
pass
comes
on the
Ryan Jones
inside.
in that number 91 Toyota, and he's going to make a move under Zachary Douse, and that is for 8th position, and Jones is going to pass him easily.
And yeah, that's
Here comes Douse. He's going to try to cross over at the start-finish line. They're going to be side by side entering turn 1. Douse may have a slight advantage, but let's see. I think Jones is going to have the edge on the high side, and he certainly does. Douse is nothing on the bottom, and Jones into 8th position.
And that's exactly what I was kind of talking about there. You're going to have to pass on the inside. It's just, can you keep the momentum coming out of the corner to make it work? And Bry was able to do that there. It took him about a lap and a half to get the pass done. So that's the other part of this is you're going to have to go to the bottom to make the pass, but it's going to take like a lap or so to actually get the pass done, which is definitely going to hurt your tires even more. As you can see, Johnny Rapp looks to be trying to do the same thing here. He's not able to clear Zachary, so he's still stuck on the inside. We'll see if he does stay on the bottom.
Meanwhile, up front, Chris Smith and Rhett Tucker are nose to tail. Complete lap 26 of this 100-lap race. Let's go through the top 10. Chris Smith, of course, is our leader. Rhett Tucker is second. Josh Ward, who at the beginning of this race was down 29 points to our points leader, Johnny Rapp, is in third. Cole Sacchetti is fourth. Jamie Leach is fifth. And rounding out the top 10, we have Ellis Thomas, Patrick Colby, Roy Jones, Zachary Douse, and our points leader, Johnny Rapp, who has the most wins of any Apex Energy Truck Series driver this season with 4, and he won last weekend, or I should say last week, at Gateway, because we run these races on Wednesday. Sorry about that.
I'm pretty sure Johnny's just, hey, I'm top 10 right now. I'm just going to ride a long way to go and probably pull a horseshoe out again, as has multiple times this season already. But yeah, up front, Jamie Leach has been catching the top 4 over the last handful, or since we were talking about it. So we'll see if he can catch them before pit stops and close up the timing and set himself up for the next run to probably pick up a few spots, as we are coming up on George Fetzko, who has that damage. He's going to stay high, so the leaders are going to have to go low here as we got our first lap traffic of the night. And Josh Ward and Cole Sacchetti definitely had to make evasive action there, as they didn't expect to come up on Fetzko that fast exiting two there.
And Rye Jones has been battling for a few laps to get around Patrick Colby. Got on his door, but was unable to make the pass, and that has allowed Zachary Douse to close back in. So this is an interesting battle.
And looks like Rye's trying to do everything he can to get around. He's looking at different lanes to see what he can do, and he's still, as he goes to the inside there down the backstretch. We got a what's up from the Southern Broadcast Racing Network in Twitch chat. How are you doing? We're having a good time up here. Calling this race. It's after the first lap, it's kind of settled out a bit, but there's definitely some close racing up throughout the field, as the leaders are all over each other still.
If I'm not mistaken, the Southern Broadcasting Network used to broadcast these races. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did the series last season.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for joining us. The UD Awards 150. It's been quite the race so far. A massive wreck on the opening lap. Took out a lot of good drivers, but not Chris Smith and Rhett Tucker. They have been nose to tail for quite some time. Josh Ward came into this race down 29 points to our points leader, Johnny Rapp. He is doing whatever he can to make up any point. Right now, Josh Ward holding point in third.
So currently he's got 5 points gained on Johnny if the race were to end now, but that he's going to still need 15 plus points the rest of the next, not next week, but in 2 weeks, because next week we are off for the Truck Series, but in 2 weeks will be the season finale at Miami.
Very, very nice. And Rye Jones has completed his green flag pit stop, 4 tires, and Sunoco gasoline. So Rye Jones back onto the racetrack.
He is the first one to have made his pit stop. It looks like Josh Ward is also coming down pit road from third place, and so is Ellis Thomas, you can see come in the back there.
So those two guys have pitted, as you said. And Nick DeCesare and Zachary Douse are battling. And we haven't really seen much of Nick DeCesare except for one of the road courses earlier this season. Are you surprised that DeCesare is doing so well early on in this race, Tony?
Surprised, not really, but yeah, I don't think he's shown up to too many races this season. I think he's only been here for like a handful at best, so that's part of the reason why we haven't heard his name or talked about him too much. But yeah, he's definitely running strong out there in 7th place currently, as we got a few more people going down pit road, I believe.
It's Paul Thomas and Chris Smith, our leader.
Your leader.
At least he was the leader. Yep. But interesting thing about Smith, his pit road entry was a little bit hairy. He got onto the apron, was carrying a lot of speed, and nearly spun out. It'll be interesting to see what his pit road speed was, and if so, if any penalties will be applied.
Cole Sacchetti and Jamie Leach are also coming down pit road. So your leader is Rhett Tucker, followed by Patrick Colby, and then Zachary Douse in third, as we got a few more people going down pit road as well. But yeah, we got, looks like the top 7 have stayed out so far.
And as Rhett Tucker crosses the start-finish line, he is now your leader. He has not yet pit. And what lap can we expect Rhett Tucker to come in, Tony? Do you think he'll be within the next few laps?
Well, the field run is about 35 to 40 laps, and they had that one caution, so if he extends it, he can probably go to lap 43 or 44, so he's still got about 6 or so laps left if he does want to do that. And if he does do that, then he'll guarantee a 2-stop race, which will give him the freshest tires, unless he decides to hold on to his head, because they do only have 2 sets of tires in the pits. So that's probably another reason why he wants to extend this as long as possible, because if he's going to have to pit twice and he only has 2 sets of tires, he might as well maximize them for the last run.
And during that portion,
and here comes Tucker now
Brady
down pit
Powers.
road.
Brady Powers is on pit road at the moment. And I was about to say, when you were talking about green flag pit stops, the benefit of basically running until your tank runs dry is that you're going to have a lot of guys who are going to, pit early to try to, outwork you on strategy. But I can tell you from experience, if you run it dry, you have a better opportunity of having the freshest tires and moving your way through the field. And Cole Taketi, contact with the 15 of Chris Tepp coming out of turn 2. That was
He's got some
very
left
interesting.
front damage now, it looks like. And Patrick Colby, your leader after Rhett Tucker pit, is also coming down pit road, which leaves Chris Tepp as your leader if he stays out here, who you, as you said, just had contact, but he is also coming down. So it looks like everybody's going to have made their green flag pit stops after this lap.
And that was the product of netcode. Looking at the replay, it looked like the fan of Cole Taketi made an abrasive move to go to the outside, and it looked like he turned left just a little bit, perhaps to get a side draft, but once he got too close to that right front, it registered contact, and that shot the 15 up the racetrack.
So netcode strikes again. And thanks, Jeremy, in the chat. Always glad to hear that. And because of the lap or 2 earlier pit stop by Josh Ward, and as you were saying, Chris had a little bit of a botched pit entrance. Josh Ward is now your leader, but Chris Smith is all over his back bumper here as the pit stops cycle through. And they have a 3.5 second gap over 3rd place. So the pit cycle has definitely spread the field out here.
But the silver lining to that pit stop from Chris Smith is that, at least he didn't overshoot pit road and get caught speeding. So he did lose some positions, for messing up his pit road entry. But it's much better than, especially under green conditions, and having that happen and coming down pit road and having to serve a 30-second penalty. What's worse? Would you rather, lose a couple seconds, or would you want to basically kick yourself out of contention for the race win? I think you take the first option.
Well, honestly, I would take that as well. But I think he got in pretty well based on what happened then, because if he got in that hot and was able to keep it under the speed limit as he did, it looks like like I said, these two have a 3.5, almost 4 second lead now over 3rd place. So these two have broken away from the field. And Chris is running 2nd, obviously, instead of 1st, but he didn't really lose that much. He didn't lose a position. He only lost 1 position, but he's still right there in contention, as you were talking about. And Josh Ward obviously had a really good pit stop, but he made up 2 spots here to take the lead, and he is still holding off Chris here as we are on lap 43 out of 100.
And Ellis Thomas, who was the quickest in our initial practice session, ran a 31 flat. He is running in 3rd spot at the moment.
He just took that away from Ryan Jones, and so Rhett Tucker looks to have also just passed Ryan Jones. And Ellis looks to be blinking here.
And Tim Tokarski, who was involved in the opening lap crash, including 2 wrecks on pit road during the caution sequence, he has actually gained a lap. He has gone from 10 laps down to 9 laps down and is scored in the 16th position.
He has yet to make his pit stop though, so he's on his 29th lap of the run. So that's one reason why he picked up the
Tony,
lap.
I was trying to give him some props. I mean,
well, I'm just trying to. I got you.
I mean, the guy's wrecked twice on pit road today. I was trying to give him a little bit of a boost.
Either way, it looks like he's about to lose that lap back, as he's just in front of the leaders here as they go through 3 and 4.
Whoa! And he nearly lost control coming off 4. Eventually he's gonna have to make his pit stop, and then the question becomes: is he going to keep it straight going on to pit road? Because that has been a struggle throughout this race for him.
Well, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt that his truck looks like it's probably broken, so we'll blame it on the damage from the first lap wreck for why he's having struggles getting onto pit road.
I'm gonna blame his sponsor, Whiskey River, wondering what they're putting in those drinks.
And looks like Ward has gapped Chris there a little bit over this run. Chris might have pushed a little hard to try to get around him, and Clint, because they were definitely side by side, and Chris was on the inside for quite a few laps. But and as Chris dives to the bottom again here, trying to get the draft off of Tim Tavarsky. But yeah, or Chris might just be like, well, I couldn't get the pass done. I'm gonna calm down, save my tires a little bit here, and make a run again later in the cycle.
That's something we've talked about with Chris, because there was a race where, you know, he had much fresher tires, and he ended up burning his tires much quicker. I think
it was last week. Yeah, at the end of the race.
It was last week.
Yeah, he
at
was
Gateway.
He had a tough time getting around a couple trucks because he was sort of fifth, I believe, and he had fresher tires than Johnny Rapp, who ended up winning the race. But Johnny started in first on the restart and was able to gap everyone, and Chris had to get around 2 or 3 trucks, and by the time he did, he used up all his tires, and he ended up being about a second behind Rapp at the end there. But
And it
he's
seems
pulling
like
up back to the bumper.
he is pulling up, but I think we might be in a similar spot. He was, you know, really pushing his tires there, especially the earlier part of the run. But you know, he's still going to the bottom and, you know, trying to gain, you know, some monumental ground. Ward, but you know, Ward is running the high line, and that tells me that Ward is in tire saving mode, and I think that is the smart decision. As you can see, Smith is still trying to run the bottom, and he is losing ground slowly but consistently as he continues to run that line.
Well, he has actually ran about half a tenth faster the last 2 laps than Josh, but we'll see if he's able to keep that up, because it looks like he has stalled out, as you were saying. But while these two are, you know, switching lines like this, Brett Tucker has cut their lead to 1.8 seconds instead of the 3 to 4 seconds they had earlier in the run. And you can see just on the edge of the camera that Brett Tucker is coming up. And he has about 5 fresher tires than both Josh Ward and Chris Smith here. So that's also a huge benefit for Rhett as we keep these laps going. And there is... Go ahead.
A lap car, or shall I say lap truck, coming up. That is the lap truck for Timmy Emanuel. He was one of the 6 trucks that were involved in that first, let's say the first lap, first turn, first lap, first turn crash, however you want to coin it. But basically, Timmy Emanuel's truck got pretty messed up during that first sequence. He's currently scored 18 laps down in 17th, but cool. The great part about it is that, you know what, you know, he's not 17th is not bad for, you know, one of the top leagues in iRacing, and pretty much tells you how insane that first wreck was.
Well, that, and he's just out there trucking along, making sure he can get as many points as he can. I don't remember exactly where he is in the points, but I'm sure he wants to finish as high in the standings as he can here. And again, there's only 2 races left counting tonight, so that, and I'm sure he just wants to show that, hey guys, I'm out here for the long haul as well, and maybe next season he can be up there challenging for the championship, or at least the top 5 in points as the leaders go around him. And Brett Tucker is right there now. In the next lap or so, he'll be on their bumper.
And Brett Tucker has made an impressive run to get up to those guys. It seemed like he was long and, you know, all alone and gone just a few laps ago, but I think he's been saving his tires, Tony.
Well, that, and again, he's got 5 lap fresher tires than these 2, so that's a big difference, especially when you're basically flat out the whole time. And he's right there. We'll see how long it takes him to get around, or if he tries to push the issue. There's another lap truck that they're about to go by going into turn 3 here, and Tucker does dive to the inside. We'll see if he can clear both of them or just pick up a spot. He does get around Chris.
But remember, Tony, last week, Rhett Tucker and Josh Ward got into it, and it was Ward that put him out of the race. Josh Ward is still in championship contention. Rhett Tucker is not really in championship contention. What do you think's of Rhett Tucker's mind? Winning the race, or do you think getting back at Josh is on his mind? Oh, he gets into the wall!
He pushed it too hard and grabbed the wall, and he's got some heavy right side damage now. That might hurt him. Both Ward and Smith were able to clear him without any issues, so Tucker was the lone casualty of that, and yeah, as you can see, a lot of right side damage there. That's going to hurt him aerodynamically. Sorry.
New word, aerodynamically. We love it.
But yeah, we'll see if he can get that fixed over the next pit stop, and see how much time he ends up losing here because of that on this run. But that also helped Chris get around Josh for the lead, and now he's got a quarter of a second over Ward, and we'll see if Josh can get back by him, or if they're gonna settle out like this, like they were running flip-flopped before Tucker got there.
But now Chris Smith has something called clean air, and he is loving it right now. And that Carl Edwards move did not work so well for Rhett Tucker. And if you guys watched the 2008 NASCAR chase race from that season with him and Jimmy Johnson, you know exactly what I mean. But yeah, it looked like he just got in there way too deep, got into the marbles a little bit, and next thing you know, he was sliding into the fence.
Yeah, I think he was just like, oh, I've got these tires, I ran them down, I'm just gonna get by them and pull away, and I think he just got a little too anxious, and it bit him. And he has fallen to about 1.5 seconds behind the leader now.
And as you can see, on its truck, it's a little bit skewed right now because of the damage, and that is certainly not helping his truck aerodynamically.
And that's definitely a big factor in these trucks in general, but especially at a place like Kansas, where again, they're basically flat out around the whole track every lap. You're gonna lift a little bit, especially this late in the run, just to get the truck to pivot in the corner, but you're basically half throttle, 3/4 throttle throughout the entire set of corners, and that's really going to hurt Rhett here as he continues to lose some ground. For him, though, he's got about 1.5 seconds over 4th place, but we'll see how long he stays out here on this run. Maybe he'll shorten this run up so he can get to pit road and get some of that damage fixed while he's getting his last set of tires and enough fuel to run to the end of the race, which everyone is currently right now on lap 61. There's 40 laps to go, so this is the edge of the fuel limit. But there are 2 green light checkers, so I'm sure people will wait about 5-10 laps before they pit. Plus, obviously, you want to try to have the freshest tires at the end. Unless you're towards the back and you want to try to jump some positions, you might pit a little earlier, so you can make up a lot more time before they get onto pit road and try to hold them off at the end. But yeah, look, it looks like Chris Smith is pulling away from Josh Ward here as we continue to go. He's opened it up to just over 1/2 second now over Josh in 2nd place.
And let's go through the top 10 as we're heading through this race here at the UD Awards 150. Chris Smith, your leader. Josh Ward is 2nd. Rhett Tucker 3rd. Rhett Polzacchetti 4th. Ryan Jones in 5th. And rounding out the top 10, we have Jamie Leach, Patrick Colby, Johnny Rapp, our points leader, Nick DeCesare, and Ellis Thomas, who was struggling. He was 5th, coming down to the end of the last run, and he has slipped back to the 10th position, nearly 13 seconds behind our leader.
He looks to have some right side damage as well, so I don't know if he brushed the wall a second time or not, but obviously, if you remember, he did get the wall that one time, exit 4, so that probably has hurt him, obviously, as well. But we got just under 36 laps to go, so we'll see what happens, and the caution can always throw a wrench into these.
And also, not sure what happened to Tim Tokarski. Went back into the replay. It looks like he is done for the day. He came down pit road and missed his pit stall. Continued to move forward down pit road a little bit, then decided to put it in reverse and went backwards. And then his, it looks like his connection was immediately terminated.
Well,
So
if you go backwards too far on pit road, you get auto DQ'd. So that might have been part of it.
might have been part of it, but
Well,
you
you
know,
can see if he's got a black flag on the entries tab, and that
doesn't look like he got a black flag, but he definitely disconnected. But didn't really matter anyway. He was running about 20 laps down, so
well,
probably time to park it at that point.
well, there's enough laps for Matt Kuntz, who is on track, to make up and pass him for position. So
Ellis Thomas has hit pit road from the 10th position.
it looks like Zachary Dowse is also coming down pit road.
Interesting strategy, but we're coming down to the latter part of this race, so we're getting to see some interesting pit strategies unfold. And it looks like Rye Jones is going to pit from the 5th spot as well. So here we go. Green flag pit stops are underway.
Your top 3 have stayed out, though. Top 4, top 5. So we've had 4 people on pit road now.
But this will also give Rhett Tucker an excellent chance to fix whatever damage he received during that date with the wall.
When he pits, yes. Oh.
Absolutely.
Oh, and here comes your leader,
Here
and
comes your
second
leader, Chris
place,
Smith.
and second place.
Coming
Josh
in
Ward.
pretty hot.
Brett Tucker is also
And
coming
he's
down.
gonna make it.
The top 4 have all come down. It looks like Jamie Leach and the 2 who was running 5th will be the first one to stay out, followed by Patrick Colby and Johnny Rapp. So those are your top 3 now after Smith, Ward, Tucker, and Tiketti all pit there.
And Johnny Rapp currently in 3rd, of course, because we're currently under green flag pit stops. But you'll always know that there's something up Johnny Rapp's sleeve. What you think he stays out as long as possible and gets those fresh tires and uses that advantage to reel in all these drivers?
That usually seems to be what he does, is he tries to have the freshest tires at the end of the race. And obviously it's worked out. He's got 4 wins on the season, but we'll see if it works out again tonight, as there's 32 laps to go, coming 231 laps to go, as Jamie Leach looks like he's coming down pit road, so Patrick Colby will take over the lead here, and Johnny Rapp is also staying out. And not too far behind these 2 are Chris Smith and Josh Ward on fresh tires, looking to unlap themselves, which they possibly could here depending on how long Patrick and Johnny stay out. Otherwise, they'll definitely get their lap back once these 2 pit. But we'll see how long Patrick and Johnny stay out here, as it looks like both of them are staying out this time by as well.
And if you see the 10 of Cole Tiketti, him and Rye Jones are all over each other for position and using up some of those tires in the process. But the risk with that, Tony, is that if we continue to go green, obviously the leaders who have stayed out, they're going to come down pit road, they're going to have fresh tires. By the time they get on the racetrack, these guys would have been racing the heck out of each other for the last 10 to 15 laps and burning up their tires. Are they going to be sitting ducks at the end?
Well, it all depends, because if you stay out too late, then you're not going to have that much time to make up time on those new tires, as we talked about last week, I believe. And so if Patrick and Johnny do stay out for another like 10 laps, they'll only have about 20 laps to make up all that ground they're going to lose right now, and we'll see if they've lost too much on this run. So if I were them, I'd pit around lap 75, as we are on lap 72 here.
And here comes Johnny Rapp.
Yep, but Patrick Colby is staying out. Your leader is staying out. And as we were talking about that going into turn 3, both Chris Smith and Josh Ward did unlap themselves. So they are back on the lead lap. So if a caution comes out, they get to go all the way around. But yeah, Patrick Colby is staying out. It looks like Brady Powers is also out still. Oh no, Brady Powers is also on pit road. So Patrick Colby and Chris Tepp are the only two who have pit. And Chris Tepp is about 18 seconds behind Patrick Colby, running in second place here. And honestly, if you're Patrick, you're going, hey, can somebody please bring out a caution right now? Because if so, then I get to go take my pit stop, get those fresh tires. Everybody else has used all their tires, and I get to start right behind them on the restart here. And there's only four people on the lead lap currently. A lot of them will take the wave around, and they'll have to go to the end. So Patrick will be way up there if a caution comes out. But he is about to give Sacchetti his lap back here. Sacchetti is passing him going into turn 1. And Patrick does stay out here. We'll see if he does come down pit road this time or if he tries to go as long as possible. And there's a lot of congestion here as there's some slower trucks catching some faster trucks. And Patrick goes to the inside. Patrick might be pitting here. It looks like he's, yep, it looks like he will be
he's slowing down.
Yep.
And he is going to pit.
So we're just waiting on Chris Tepp in the 15, who is currently second place. But he is exiting turn 2 as Patrick Colby is a third of the way down pit road as your leader.
Well, let's be honest, Tony. The likelihood of a caution coming out within the last 30-something laps is pretty slim, in my opinion. You know, as I said at the beginning of the race, as long as these guys can, you know, stay single file for the most part, run the high line.
They are spread out
be
as well.
respectful to one another. I think they're going to be in good shape. Obviously, the first lap caution that took out, you know, six really fast trucks, you know, certainly helped in that endeavor.
Yeah, and they're spread out, and Chris Tepp is staying out, so I don't know if he led that lap, but he is currently the leader. We'll see if he stays out yet again here.
He is running the low line.
He has been. Yeah, he is staying out, so he will definitely get this lap led. And we currently have 12 people on the lead lap, and Ellis Thomas is right behind the leader here, trying to get his lap back to put 13 people on the lead lap.
Well, we know for sure that Tepp is going to pit. There's no way that he's going to be able to make it on fuel.
He's already 37 laps into run, but only just under 1.5 seconds behind is Chris Smith and Josh Ward. So Tepp's going to lose the lead no matter what. It looks like he is pitting this time by, though. He is coming down pit road. The 15 is coming down pit road, and now Chris Smith has retaken the lead.
And he nearly wrecks coming onto pit road. A heck of a save there by the number 15 Toyota of Chris Tepp. But you also want to give him a tip of the cap. You know, he started deep in the field, the 20th position. And it looks like that's not going to help. He overshot his box and had to back up. That is a huge mistake, especially under green. So not only is he going to lose the lead, but he may also lose a lap in the process.
And unfortunately for Ellis Thomas, he got that lap back once Chris Tepp pitted, but he immediately loses it again as Chris Smith and Josh Ward go by him down the straightaway there. So we have 11 people on the lead lap right now. Ellis Thomas would get the lucky dog if a caution were to come out. But as you said, everyone's pretty spread out right now. So unless people are trying to be heroes, I don't think a caution's going to happen. As they're coming to 21 to go here at the line.
Yeah, I know he is scored 17 seconds back, but Johnny Rapp always finds a way to be there at the end of the race. I don't think he's going to be able to reel in all 17 seconds. I think he's going to need a caution, but he does have the freshest tires of this group, from my understanding.
I believe it looks like Patrick Colby does, but we will take one really quick commercial break here to get that in before the night's over. We will be side by side, so you will still be able to see the action. We will catch you in about 2 minutes, or a minute or two here.
How do we get these one-of-a-kind amazing trophies? Well, we were fortunate to find UD Awards when we started our league. We reached out and we connected with Christopher, and we got started designing these one-of-a-kind works of art. The process was easy from start to finish. After just a few revisions, we finalized each one of them, and the team at UD got to work building each trophy from scratch. They're a small team, but they've got the ability to do just about anything your brain can imagine. And don't worry, if you're not an artist, they've got an entire catalog of unique trophies in pretty much any material you can imagine. Wood, acrylic, glass, and in the case of last season's trophy, metal. The best part, they're affordable. If you're looking for a trophy for your event or league, the choice is simple. UD Awards can give you exactly what you want.
Are you looking for high-quality, affordable sim racing paint schemes and graphics? Then look no further than Evan at Evan Pienta Designs. Driven by speed, Evan Pienta Designs offers a multitude of sim racing graphics, from liveries to social media graphics to team and series logos. To see some of the work done by Evan, or even race one of the public liveries he's made, head on over to tradingpaints.com and search Evan Pienta.
And welcome back to the UD Awards 150 from Kansas Speedway. The Apex Energy Truck Series is live, and Chris Smith is our leader as he crosses the start-finish line. 84 laps complete. We are now on lap 85. We have 16 laps remaining. And Chris Smith had a chance to win last weekend at Gateway. Was unable to do so. Johnny Rapp ended up holding on for the win and extending his point lead. And Tony, what's been the biggest surprise to you in this race so far?
Honestly, that we kept it green ever since the first lap wreck, because there's definitely been some close calls, just because, you know, you're running up high and you're up against the wall, and then people are going to grab it every now and then, as we saw a couple times out there. And one of them went to a 4 wide, and one of them was a pass for the lead, which actually cost Rhett Tucker the lead, because when he got in the wall, he couldn't get it out of the wall without a big incident, and both the leaders were able to get around him without hitting him. And we're at where we're at, where the top two have a 6-second gap over third place of Cole Sacchetti. And yeah, we got 14 laps to go now, and Chris Smith looks like he's hanging on, and he's been the dominant truck out there tonight ever since the beginning. I obviously led the we will actually check here. We'll bring up the driver info, and it looks like he has led 52 laps so far out of the 86 completed. So yeah, he's definitely going to have the most laps led here tonight.
But Tony, I'm going to make a prediction. I don't think Chris Smith is going to win this race. Nothing against Chris, but look who's behind him, Josh Ward. Josh Ward's an aggressive guy. He's a go-getter. We have, after this race, one race left in the championship. He needs every point he can get. I think he's going to do whatever it takes to get this win tonight. He needs it. Chris Smith probably needs it for himself, for his team. But Josh Ward, he needs it for
The championship.
chance to win a championship. I think he might pull a Carl Edwards. If he has to go that route, he's going to do it.
Well, we'll see how things turn out here. He's got to make up a little bit of ground before he tries anything, though. So he's about a quarter of a second behind Chris. He might just be riding now as we come to 12 laps to go. And you never want to make your move too early either, but you don't want to make it too late. So he's still got to get to him before he can do anything. So we'll see if that happens here. But I am sure that if he does get into a position to make a move, he will definitely go for it. But yeah, I don't know. Chris has been really, really strong tonight. I don't see him just letting that happen either. So, and it looks like he just did extend his lead a little bit more that lap. And they are on the same set of tires. They did pit on the same lap, so no one has like a lap advantage or anything.
So this is just going to come down to who can manage their tires the best, and who can run the right line. And right now, it looks like they're running nearly precisely the right line. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens down the stretch.
Yeah, and behind them, it's a 6-second gap to Cole Sacchetti in third, and then there's another about 2-second gap between Cole Sacchetti and Rye Jones in fourth. So there's really no other. There is a battle for 10th, but it's about the same as what you see right here for the lead. So this is definitely the closest action on the track right now. And obviously it's the most important as it's 10 to go, coming to 9 to go here at Kansas. And these two are looking for the win here tonight. And yes,
It's been a very interesting race so far. Obviously, we had that massive crash in the first lap, and that's been our only caution. In fact, Tony, I think that big wreck actually helped us out in a way, because I thought we were going to have I wouldn't say a lot more cautions. I thought we would have a couple more, just because of how slick the racetrack is, but because we took out so many guys at the start of that race, it's been completely clean.
Yeah, you lost 5 trucks, and it probably made people go, wait a minute. We wrecked a lap 1. Let's just not do that again. And so people are probably did end up racing differently than what they planned on, a little bit, whether consciously or subconsciously. And then again, there's 5 less trucks out there, so there's less chance to be around someone or have someone push an issue or just make a pass that would get you caught up. But it looks like Chris he has gained another 10th and a half here as he's opened it up to 4 and 2 tenths or 42 tenths here.
We have 7 laps to go, and for those of you who are just joining us, and apparently Scott Sopsack is watching this race. How's it going, Scott? On the first lap, or shall I say the first turn, Brett Tucker took the field 3 wide. Evan Pienza was not expecting that, and he moved up the racetrack when he saw the number 99 to his inside. And at the same time, Cordell Lofgren came down in turn 1, and both Lofgren and Pienza made contact, which caused a massive crash. Pienza, of course, was not too happy about the accident, left some comments on YouTube, which we are not saying live on air, but it's just safe to assume, guys, that I don't think Mr. Tucker will be receiving any designs from Evan Pienza in the near future. However, thank God for TradingPaints.com, because, Tony, those paint schemes save us when we're in officials.
Yeah, it's always great to have people uploading paints for people to use. And over the last few laps, Chris Smith has extended his lead. He is 3/4 of a second, almost about 8/10 of a second now over Josh Ward in second place. So Chris is definitely looking to put this one away as we are on 5 laps to go here.
Is Josh Ward playing possum, or do you think he's burned his rear tires?
You don't give up this much ground if you're trying to do something at Kansas. I think he kind of just said, you know what, I'm second. Johnny Rapp is back there 8th or so. I'm gonna pick up some points. I led some laps. I'm gonna just make sure I close up the standings as much as I can here, not wreck both of us if I try to push it. But yeah, he keeps losing time as he's over a second behind now. 4 laps to go, coming to 3 to go. Chris is just putting those laps down, knocking them out, and Josh is just slowly getting slower and slower here. But he's got plenty of ground between him and 3rd, so I don't think he's too worried either. We'll have to see what happens at Miami. It'll probably be 15-16 points between Josh and Johnny for the championship. But Chris doesn't care as he is coming to 2 to go with the lead, and he wants to get his win this season. He has been close numerous times. He's had at least 2, if not 3 second place finishes, and he's like, hey, this is my win tonight.
And Smith has not scored a win this season so far, so this would be his first.
Yeah, and he's like I said, he's definitely been close a few times, and he really wanted it last week. Again, he got caught up in some traffic on that last restart that slowed him down, and he didn't have the tires to quite catch Johnny Rapp. But he's made sure that he was out front all night tonight as he is coming to the white flag. 1 lap to go for the UD Awards 150 at Kansas.
And as Tony said, we are on the last lap of the UD Awards 150. Chris Smith looking for his first win of the 2023 Apex Energy Truck Series season. He's been close multiple times this season, and none closer than last week when he came up short to our points leader, Johnny Rapp. But tonight, Chris Smith is not to be denied. He has led the most laps, and he's going to score the win. Chris Smith is a first-time winner in the Apex Energy Truck Series. He wins the UD Awards 150 at Kansas Speedway.
Josh Ward will come in second place points runner, and then Cole Sacchetti will end up third. Your top 5 will be Rye Jones in fourth and Jamie Leach in fifth.
And Patrick Colby comes home 6th. Rhett Tucker is 7th. Johnny Rapp 8th. Looks like Johnny actually slipped on that last lap. Lost a few seconds. Not sure what happened there, but we can check it out. Nick DeCesare from 23rd to 9th, a respectable effort. And Brady Powers rounds out the top 10. So with that said, guys, Chris Smith is our winner, and we will interview the top 3 finishers. So in just a few moments, Cole Sacchetti will be joining us in the booth for the second time this season.
We will get them moved up here, and we'll get them interviewed in just a minute. Gotta find them all. I think we're waiting on Cole to join the server.
And the taste of victory is super sweet right now for that number 28 Ford of Chris Smith, as he continues to do donuts here on the front stretch.
They're definitely well earned.
Absolutely.
And while he's doing that, we will give everyone a moment to file in, and we'll see if Cole is able to join us tonight. Oh, there he is. Okay, so your third place finisher, Cole Sacchetti, will be here in just a moment. You want to take him, Ryan?
Yeah, sure thing. Cole Sacchetti, Ryan O'Hara here in the booth. Congratulations on a third place run. You know, it was quite a fun race. We had one caution for a massive wreck in the first turn of the race, and from then on, it was just clean, hard racing.
Yeah,
How was it out there?
Yeah, it was definitely a good time there. It was a little tough running that high side, trying to figure out, where you could be faster than people, and we got put in that 4-person line there right at the front, and it was kind of hard to make anything work, honestly. So, typical truck race, it's hard to pass in these things now. It's all about momentum. So, but overall, I'm pretty happy with third place there, especially with the amount of stuff I had to go through earlier in the race. So I'll definitely take third for sure.
And so we're going to have an off week next week, and the championship race is going to be at Homestead, and it's a 2-man battle between Josh Ward and Johnny Rapp. You've raced with them throughout the season. Who do you think? I mean, obviously Rapp is going to have a little bit of a points lead coming into the final race, but who do you favor?
Yeah, I haven't raced with Josh too much. He's good, clean, hard racer, and he's got a lot of speed. So that's going to be one to watch for sure. Interested to see how it plays out. I'd like to say, Johnny's got it wrapped up here, but you never know. I mean, that's what racing is. You never know until the last lap when you take that checkered flag. So hopefully they have a good run out there. I'm just happy to be part of these guys and witness everything that's going on with their points battle there.
So Johnny has it wrapped up. I'm just glad I'm not the only one who has the same pun for Johnny. Congratulations again, Cole, on a great finish, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
Yeah, no worries. We'll see you guys then. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll see you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
That was your third place finisher, Cole Sacchetti, in the number 10. Now we will take Josh Ward. Josh, you got second place out there tonight. Did you have anything for Chris out there, or were you just kind of points racing at the very end? Because I know you're second, and you did gain quite a few on Johnny here, and you only got 1 week left. How did you expect the race to go? How did it go, and what are your thoughts on tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I got outdriven. That's all it was. I was really hoping that pit cycle would have played out and I could have got in front of him and just kind of held him back, but just didn't play out that way. He had the fastest car. I think there were a couple guys probably behind us that just got pit cycled in the wrong area that were actually faster than both of us. But no, I just got outran. Really wanted the win to actually have a chance next week, but it's pretty much going to take me winning and Johnny having a bad week. But it's been a fun season. Chris did a really good job. I think we were even. If I might have even been a little quicker for the most that last run through 3 and 4, but he was just walking me through 1 and 2, and there was, even if I got beside him, there was no way I was going to catch him. And I mean, earlier in the race, I think Rhett Tucker was probably the fastest car, and after last week, we messaged back and forth a little bit, and I wanted to give him some room, so I backed out, and then he hit the wall right in front of me. I just kind of went under him, and just spent the rest of the night looking at Chris's rear bumper.
Well, that does, yeah, I was going to bring that up because you reminded me. I can't remember, was that the last run or the second last run, but do you think that may have hurt your chances tonight? Because obviously you were leading, and then Rhett made that pass, and then when you both got by him, Chris did pull out ahead of both of you. Do you think that may have been the move that ended up costing you the win tonight?
I think it was the move that took away my chance of holding him off. I mean, you saw at the end of the run, the last 10 laps, he's just started driving away. He's clearly faster. I probably could have stayed in front of him and just held him back and made him a little mad and just held him on the bottom. Might have had a chance, but coulda, woulda, shoulda. Second place, I'm pretty happy with it. Clean run, clean fenders, and I don't think anybody's mad at me tonight.
And
Josh, how did your Dover race go yesterday?
That was good seeing you in there, man. I
Thank you.
actually finished second in that race too, so I got a streak of second places going.
Well, my wheel disconnected when I was in second, so yeah, I found the wall. But we'll get it figured out. All I can say is that at least I out practiced you at Homestead, but you definitely had me beat at Dover.
Well, there you go, man. Well, hope I can run wheel to wheel with you here pretty soon.
Sounds good, man. I'm ready to go.
And like you said, you probably need to win and have Johnny have a bad race. But we are off next week before we head to Miami. What do you expect? How do you expect Miami to go? And do you think you have a chance? Do you think Johnny might have a bad night, or do you think it's pretty much over for you?
I try not to think too much about it. When I get off here, I don't think much about sim racing, but I mean, I just kind of use this as an outlet to, just have fun and, enjoy myself. But I think anything can happen. I mean, my goal going into every race is lead every single lap, win the race, but that's much easier said than done. I've talked to Johnny a little bit back and forth, and don't want to wish bad on the guy, but if he could have a bad night and I could win the race, I would like that nice trophy that you guys have.
All right, we'll see. We'll definitely be keeping all eyes on that when we do get to Miami. Anyone you want to shout out or give thanks to before you head out here tonight?
Just congrats to Chris for running the race and Johnny for still holding on the point lead, and my sponsor LN Kart. They help me race in real life, and it's been a really good team to work with, on a week to week basis. So love the blue and yellow, and then love the car behind it itself.
All right. Well, congrats again on your second place, and good luck on the championship battle at Miami in a couple weeks. And hopefully we'll get to talk to you up here again.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
You're welcome. See you later.
All right. That was your second place finisher of Josh Ward, and we will get your race winner here, Chris Smith, in just a second.
Chris, congratulations on your first win of the season. I know you were disappointed last week in having burned your tires late at Gateway, but today you got your redemption, led the most laps, got the win. How do you feel?
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's great. I was telling Josh and Cole earlier. This is not the week I expected to win. This is not my strong suit at all. These types of tracks, having to run up on the wall like that. I'm usually not very good at it, but it was a big track position game tonight, and got out front and just tried really, really hard to keep it.
And is this your first win in Apex history? I was trying to go back, and I couldn't go back to last season. But is this your first win in the series?
This is my second win. I got a win at Bristol in the 87s back in our summer series, but it's been almost a year now, so it's been a long time, been a long dry spell. So happy to get back in victory lane. This is after Darlington and Gateway, where we were really really close both those weeks. I really told Ellis coming into tonight, I didn't even care really where I finished in points. I just wanted to get a win before the season was out, and we were able to get one tonight. To my surprise, this is not my strongest track at all. After Las Vegas and the way that race played out, we kind of had a game plan tonight. To be very aggressive in the track position game, and you had to race really hard to try to keep your position and keep the air was just crucial tonight. It was very very important to try to make sure you kept clean air on your truck.
Do you think that first lap wreck changed how a lot of people ended up racing the rest of the race? Were you surprised it went green the whole way?
I don't know if I'm surprised it went green the whole way, because that's kind of how we've been trending lately, but I think it did change the complexion of the race. Obviously, we lost some contenders. I think that Scott Sobzak had some issues before the start, but I know Evan would have been fast, and I felt like the 99. I felt like Rhett had the speed on all of us tonight. I think he was trying to make a slide job work on Josh there, and just tagged the wall, and unfortunately got hit there. He got some damage, but it very well might have changed the rest of the race for sure.
And looking forward to Homestead in a couple of weeks, obviously you won't be in the championship picture, but you still have a chance to play the spoiler. It's a two-man battle between Josh Ward and Johnny Rapp. Kind of like Denny Hamlin and Greg Biffle, back in 05 and 06 in the Cup Series. You can just come into the championship race and you have one celebration for the champion, another one for victory lane. So, is the game plan just to go out there and try to win Homestead and focus on the 2024 season?
Yeah, definitely. That's actually a really good track for me. Coming into the night, I was like, man, I just want to get through here and get to Homestead, because I think that we finished second there in the Cup race in the fall. So it's always been a really good track for me. So I'm really looking forward to getting out there and hitting that progressive banking. It's a very fun track. One of the more fun mile and a half tracks that we have here on the schedule. So before I get out of here, I just want to give you guys a big shout out. Thank you guys so much for all y'all's hard work all season. You guys make these Wednesday night races happen. I want to also give a shout out to my lead co-owner, Ellis Thomas. Ellis puts in a lot of work. My teammate, Paul Thomas, for keeping us cool and calm on the comms whenever things don't go well. All of our partners, Apex Energy, Evan Pienta Designs, Sim Racing Tech, and we got UD Awards a win tonight in their race. So big shout out to them and all the guys that show up every single week in both the Cup Series and the Truck Series. Cup Series put on a great race last night. Truck guys hung in there tonight. I know it probably wasn't the most fun conditions out there tonight, but they really hung in there and powered through tonight. So really want to thank them.
All right, congratulations again. It's great to see you back in Victory Lane, and I'm sure we'll see you in Victory Lane plenty of times coming up. Thank you again, and congratulations.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a good night.
Yep, congrats.
You as well. See you later.
Thank you.
All right, that was your winner, Chris Smith of the 28 truck, getting his first win of the season. And he brought home, as he said, the win for UD Awards in the UD Awards 150. What were your thoughts tonight, Ryan?
Well, like you said earlier, the first lap wreck changed the entire trajectory of the race. I was expecting to see, a good amount of cautions. Not because there's bad drivers, but this is a slick racetrack. But crazily enough, we had a massive wreck. We didn't even make it through a turn. Red Tucker made a pretty aggressive move at the start of the race to make it 3 wide. Don't think Evan Pienta was expecting it, and so he moved up because he didn't want contact. And when that happened, Cordell Lofgren moved down at the same time. So it was just a crazy, I call it a freak accident more than anything else that caused that. But it made it a better race. I hate to say it, but it did make it a better race. It probably forced these drivers to race smart and race clean. And in the end, we had a great race. Chris Smith picking up his second win in the Apex Energy. I would say the Apex Energy threshold, because he said his other win was in the Cup Series at Bristol last year. But this is his first truck win of the season. It was a good race, and now we wait until Homestead to see who will hoist the 2023 Apex Energy Truck Series Championship. Johnny Rapp has a somewhat decent lead. He will probably have to have a bad day for Josh Ward to have a chance. But we've seen crazier things happen. You go back to the 2012 chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Championship. Brad Keselowski and Jimmy Johnson were neck and neck. Johnson had engine problems. Keselowski won. And you even can go back to 1992 with Davey Allison, and Alan Kulwicki ended up winning one of the most iconic NASCAR Winston Cup Series championships in history. So, the first person we talked to, I think it was Josh, that said it's never over till it's over until the checkered flag. Or that might have been Cole Sacchetti, actually. So I think that was Cole, but I think that speaks volumes.
Even tonight, lap 1, we had a wreck that took out 5 people, and one of them could be involved in a lap 1 wreck next week in the same situation, because it is Miami, and there's wide grooves, multiple lanes there. Somebody might make it 3-4 wide going in turn 1 again, but I don't know about you. I'm glad to have a week off, but I'm also sad because this is definitely exciting on Wednesday nights, and I hope everyone that watches obviously enjoys these as well. And again, one more race to crown the champion in Miami in 2 weeks. So we hope to see you then. Thanks for coming, and have a good one, everybody.
Thank you again, everyone, to all the fans and to all of our listeners who tuned in tonight for the UD Awards 150 at Kansas Speedway. And as Tony said, we have one more race left in the schedule, and I didn't expect to be broadcasting this year, but here we are. And it's been a blessing to get to know each and every single one of you guys. And I'm a happy guy for it, and happy to work with a great guy like Tony Hilbrand. It's been an amazing experience, and I can't wait to continue it. But guys, that's all the time we have tonight here on the Slingshot Racing channel. Chris Smith is your winner of the UD Awards 150. Josh Ward 2nd, Cole Sacchetti 3rd, Ryan Jones 4th, and Jamie Leach 5th. In 2 weeks, we will see you at Homestead to crown the 2023 Apex Energy Truck Series Championship. Johnny Rapp versus Josh Ward. Who will win it? You will have to tune in to find out in 2 weeks. I'm Ryan O'Hara alongside Tony Hilbrand. Have a great night.